dentures to a really, really high standard. So, and I just wanted to, it's going to be full of really useful information that you can hopefully take to practice tomorrow. This is Bert here, and Bert has got lower tooth 2, they're carious, periodontally involved, over-erupted, and need to be extracted, so I'm just about to take them out. And in the upper arch he's dentureless, and he's got a really flabby upper anterior ridge as well. So I'm just about to fit his immediate complete dentures. And I'm a really fast worker, not messy. Let's get them out. In they go. So that, it didn't really take very long actually to do that. It's about 15 minutes and everything fitted beautifully. And this is me taking Bert's dentures out at
it's lucky you're not going to have a great deal of control.
So, got great suction on. It's taken me like 20 years of practice to try and get this technique sorted and really learn it. But I want to tonight, just really in a nutshell, sort of like tell you exactly how to do it. So it speeds up that 20 years of faff factor I've had to go through. But essentially, the secret is in the shape of the denture. You know, the way that the denture sits in the mouth and the soft tissues, etc., drape over that and actually help hold it in place. This is Bert's teeth in the mouth here, and you can see that his tongue just sits beautifully behind his lower teeth. The cheek sits on the buccal aspect of the teeth there. This at the back, if you look right at the back there, there's a little bit of coverage over the retromolar pad. This is Bert 1 week after he came in, and I've just got a lacron on the end of it there, and I'm just trying to, really give it a push. And you can see his tongue is just stopping me from moving it. It's a bit like pushing on a brick. It's really firm. It's amazing, this. And it just still really astounds me when it happens. So, if you look in his mouth, here, these are his dentures, and these are Enigma Life Shotlander teeth that Rona and I helped to develop, and they've been on the market for about 3 years now, but they just look fantastic, really, just like natural teeth, particularly when we get them arranged appropriately, and also if we put a little bit of character in as well, some cracks and grooves, some fillings. And this is Bert's here, before and after we treated him, and it's just, this is why I totally love removable pros, because we can make a massive change quite simply to a patient, just change their whole face. I really love it. This is Bert's brother, and this is the only dentate picture he could find, but I thought Bert's brother looked a bit like him, so let's just use Bert's brother's teeth to actually try and mimic what he's got. Let's go back 20 years. This is my patient 20 years ago. That's the sort of thing that patients used to have problems with, and removable pros is difficult. There's no getting away from it. It just is. But difficult things are really satisfying to get good at and actually do. They take effort. So if I was talking to myself 20 years ago, I'd be like, Finn, let's work at it. And these are the things that I want you to really think about and start doing. So these are things we're going to cover, these 7 factors. First of all, it goes without saying we need a superb technician. That goes without saying. And I've worked with Ron for about 20 years now, and we were met at a similar age, and we've grown together. And it's mutual respect, communication. Technicians are not given they're not given the respect that we should give them in the dental profession generally, it's a very skilled job. So finding a great technician is really, really important. This next thing here, which is deliberate practice, or practice and training, actually learning how to get good at this. This is something that, if I was talking to myself 20 years ago, then you're going to have to work really hard at it to get good. And it's something that I would not want to hear at that time. But there is a little bit of this limelight, because this man here, over the past sort of 5 to 10 years, has actually produced research on how we can get really good at something that is technically difficult. So he's looked at medicine and sport, golf, you name it, chess, memory prizes. Professor Anders Ericsson, he's like the world leading expert in human performance, and he's really looked at this very carefully. He's written this great book as well called Peak, and it actually just explains how to get really good at something that's difficult to do. But in summary, he basically says that experts have really good mental images or representations of what they're trying to produce. So, when these are Bert's dentures here, I'm just turning them around, showing. I want to, before I even start a patient, just like Rachel was talking about, I want to begin with the end in mind. I want a mental picture of what I'm trying to produce. I want it visually in my brain. I want to know what a really good impression is going to look like before I do it. When I qualified from dental school, I had no idea what a really good impression should look like. I didn't even know what a good dentist should look like. So, it's just mental pictures. Looking at the mouth. Where are we going to put the teeth? Where's the denture going to sit? How wide is the sulcus? How much of room we've got to work with? Where's the retromolar pad? Where are the frena? Which teeth I'm going to put the denture on? It's just visualising that and having a mental picture of the denture before I've actually done it. And this is it in the mouth here, with all the tissues and soft tissue sitting over that. So anyway, if we go back, and I'm talking to me 20 years ago, I'd say to myself now, and this is from Anders Ericsson's research, is you need to be doing a decent number. So I need to be doing 5 to 10 dentures per month, number one. Number two is being open to immediate feedback. So for me, recently it's been being open to immediate feedback from John Besford, who is tremendous at making dentures. So I've been sending in pictures, he's been looking at it and then critiquing it. And I've just been open to him saying, Finn, you need to improve on this, and being honest with myself. It's just like Fraser McCord at Manchester, So immediate feedback, and also immediate feedback from my technician as well. So if I take something to Owen, he says, look, that impression is not right, you need to do it again. It's just do it again and just get the patient back in. And also immediate feedback from the patient. If they don't like it, just respond to that appropriately. The other thing is reading about that subject. So get into textbooks, then look at the literature, really good textbooks in dentures. Attend courses and actually watch experts doing it. Physically see them. It's a bit like I used to watch Nick Faldo at golf, and then I go out and actually I'd feel a little bit like Nick Faldo. And also, just apply what you learn. So it's like, being present when I'm actually treating the patient without my mind wandering off to, I've got such and such a person coming in next, or I wonder what we're having for tea. But it's actually just focusing and applying and really trying to apply it on every single patient without fail. So there's no quick fixes, unfortunately, but I think these are the 5 there. The clinical stuff, though, photographs are really key to this. Then take pictures of the patient. if they have their teeth. So just like this, just like Muriel, brings in a beautiful picture of her natural teeth. And then she comes in, this is how she came in with this, the little British standard denture. You'll have seen this picture before. And then if I just press the button, watch what happens to her. And the teeth come back in the right place, the whole smile face changes. And that's really just from these photographs. I love that, using them. Essentially with dentures, what I'm trying to do is to put the teeth back where they were naturally. So if the patient is a class 1, they get class 1. If they're class 2, they get class 2. If they're 2-2, they get 2-2. If they're class 3, and the teeth look good in that position, but also function really well because they're in the zone of minimal conflict. It's where the teeth erupt. The dentures are going to be stable there. So how I achieve this is to really try to get a mental picture of that patient with teeth. And this is where the dentate picture really comes in. I try and look at that and really look at the photograph. The patient's got the rim in. I'm trying to imagine them with teeth, and then I'm carving that rim to try to get the right lip support and the right tooth position. So it's really like a matrix. And the rules are, number 1, it's lip support. Number 2, incisal plane with reference to that photo. Number 3, occlusal plane, parallel the early tragus. Number 4, the midline, according to the photo. And this is if the patient wants that look. And also buccal corridors trimmed, and then it's done. And I also get Claire involved at this point as well. She looks, and we both look. Claire's been doing this for 10 years with me, and she's got a really good eye for knowing where the lip support, etc. is right. And then, once I've done that, Rowan comes in and checks, because Rowan's just in the room next door. So once I've trimmed the rim, I photograph the patient, smiling, and then Rowan gets those 2 images on a big screen in the lab. And then he can set the teeth up. And then he'll say to me, "Oh, Finn, you've not carved that very well. You need to lift those teeth up and put them there." So he can actually, it's another check in the system for actually setting the teeth up. So, and then this is what we did for Julie here. That was an end denture, just with the central sticking out, and the upper left central sticking out, and the lower back, and just nicely arranged. Number 4, impressions. So this is the key to getting real good, well-fitting dentures. With suction, which is like totally amazing. So, and it's all about the impressions with this. So it's getting a great primer impression first, which then produces a special tray, which I can then board and mould in a definitive impression. So it's that sequence. So the sequence I'm using is, I use this frame cutback tray. This is produced by Metrodent, and it actually allows us to take an impression of the retromolar pad totally on display, so it goes all the way back. And it's really overextended, but it's also very accurate on all of this fitting surface, so it helps me produce a good special tray. This is how we do it. It's 2 parts. We've got a really runny mix, which Claire's mixing here and putting into that syringe, and then I've got this firmer mix that goes into the frame cutback tray. So, and then this goes into the mouth. And can you see Claire's got these 2 little hooks here, which are fantastic. They're little photographic retractors that have been fashioned. You can pull forward, and then I pop this in the mouth. Nice and relaxed. I squirt it right into the retromolar mylohyoid area, all the way around lingually, all the way around buccally. I rehearse it with the patient before I do this, so they know what's coming. This is the thick mix. Gently rotate it in. Those retractors what Claire's got really help me actually position the tray. You can see it. You can see the ridge. Push it down on the ridge. Tongue forward. Relax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that relaxes the tongue. Push it down, and this is going into that mylohyoid area at the back, and then she just holds it with the handle at the front. And then massage the cheek at the end. This is really important, that last bit. For me, seeing where the mandible drops off the edge here. The mandible. Sorry, my mic's not great. So this is it here. So we've got a really big overextended impression, perfect for producing a special tray on. And then I draw on this model here. It's lovely and accurate. Retromolar pad. This is this Maya sinew, which is really a freeman that actually embeds into the base of the retromolar pad. It's something I've never really seen before until a few years, but it really does get in the way of our denture, so we avoid that. And then draw a line along here, which is 2 millimeters short of the edge of the mandible, all the way around to the other side. And if we do go lingually, this is really important, this bit here, which from the centre of the retromolar pad, I draw a vertical line down to the mylohyoid line, right along to the convergence point here. This is where the sublingual gland comes up. And then I draw another line, which is 2 millimeters behind this line, which is slightly, it goes into the mylohyoid area just there, and then connect it up at that convergence point there. And then draw a line at the front there, which is the edge of the mandible, and connect everything together. And then Rowan constructs a special tray to the edge of that line, of those lines. And then it's ready for green stick border moulding. So, and there's a much easier way to green stick. I'll show you. If you remember doing this at dental school, so it was annoying it was. Right, this is how I do it. So we have there's a kidney dish in the sink full of warm water with green stick compound in. It's like plasticine. I've got Vaseline on my gloves. I've got a special tray and the Bunsen. I heat up the tray in the Bunsen so it warms the edge of the tray, and then I get a thick earthworm and stick it onto the side of the special tray, and it's like plasticine. It's lovely. It's on the edge, it's not on the fitting surface. This is a close fitting special tray. I don't want anything really underneath that apart from a final impression material. So warm up the other edge, push it on. It's dead easy. I've got Vaseline on my gloves, it's not sticking. So I'll do that, and that's for the buccal shelf position there, and it's nice and soft, so it's ready to go into the mouth once I pop it back into the warm water, and then I mould it. And I'll show you the moulding sequence just in a minute. It's very, very simple, but I apply green stick to the buccal edges here on both sides, and also all the way around lingually. That's where I put the green stick. And I border mould that in place, and it's exactly the same border moulding as I do when I actually put the final impression material in, which is either zinc oxide, or increasingly I'm using imprint gum. I really like imprint gum as well for this. It's good. So here we go. Claire's got the retractors in. Gently rotate it in. avoiding getting it all over the lip. Looking at the ridge and push down, got my 2 fingers on those struts that are in like 4 or 5 region, push down, wiggle it down. Patient closes up and almost bites me, you know. Open and close, lick the lip, and they push against that lower strut. And it's on YouTube, so you can see it if you want it. It's like that. So essentially, they're border moulding that special tray to almost like a neutral zone impression. But it's all designed. Those movements are designed to maximise suction on the denture, maximise the peripheral seal. And then Rowan then just replicates that's been really carefully moulded in the final denture. And it's really, really rare that I have to actually touch the borders. They're just so accurate, it's great. Uppers, again, it's down to good suction. I want to have this level of suction on all of my upper dentures. You know, if you lift up the lip, it comes down. But it's the lips and the posterior palatal seal that cause this. So it's all down to the impression. So primary impression, just the same technique as I showed you for the lower. So it's very light-bodied impression material in the sulcus, that orange stuff, and then heavy-bodied for the centre bit. And this helps me then produce a special tray. And the special tray is constructed, it's spaced this time for alginate. And I've got a 2mm away from the depth of the sulcus, so it's 2mm short of the depth, and it goes beyond the post-amp special tray. It's just got this one handle on the front, it's dead easy to use. And then it's green stick again in that. Green stick stops on the canines and along the post-amp. And then I border mould these buccal edges on the outside, so it goes in the mouth, and I border mould that. And it's the same sequence when I put the alginate in, and I'll just show you that now. So I use Blueprint for the upper impressions, a really runny mix. I put adhesive on the tray, alginate adhesive, runny mix, little wash of water over into the mouth, and this is how I do it. So rotate it in, position it over the palate, up at the back first, push it up at the front, so it stops all of the stuff going down the patient's throat. And then Claire just takes those retractors away, and then make sure it's fully down, right down on the green stick, stops, mould the cheeks. I pull on the cheeks just to trim it, and also just underneath the base of the nose, try and make it nice and thin, just under there. Okay, waggle your jaw. Waggle the jaw for the corono process to mould the back, and open very wide, and then open wide, and then can you suck my finger? This is an important link for trimming the modiolus at the front. Sucking the finger. So it really helps with the suction of the denture. And so you can see where the tray is 2mm short of that depth of the sulcus on this image here, and that's been moulded by the patient functionally to maximise suction. So that's the definitive impression there, and Rowan mimics that in the final denture, so it looks just the same. Right, next, occlusion. So I want to get the patient into central relation, because I want, if the dentures dislodge at all, I want the patient just to be able to close together to seat the teeth back down so they don't move at all. So let's have a look at, this is Julie here, tapping up and down. So I just want her to be able to, if the dentures do dislodge during function, during speech, whatever, they can just close their teeth together, and it just reseats them and helps them reseal themselves back into place. So I really just want the patient just to be in the hinge axis position, so where the articulator is, I just want this to be replicated on the articulator, so the articulator simulates the patient. Quite simply, they close together, reseat the dentures. If we take off all of the teeth, there's no teeth there, we've got no reference position. We've got no idea where the ICP was. The only stable reference position we have is centric relation, or retruded axis position, RCP, home. And what I find to actually record this position really accurately is using Gothic arch tracing. I have in the past 2 years ditched occlusal registration rings because I just can't find an accurate RCP, even though I've been teaching that up until 2 years ago. So now it's this. It's a Gerber condylator that I really like. These are really neat. So this is the definitive model here, and Rowan puts a base plate down with a little pin in here that can go up and down, and on the top is a plate, and it fits in the mouth like that. So when the patient bites together, that central bearing point touches on that upper plate. So, and then the patient can go move forward, back, side on that. And that marker, I put a China graph marking on this here, and then that pin scribes a line on this. It scribes a triangle, just like Paul and Steve showed on their Lucia jigs. But this is more accurate. Forwards. So they get the patient to go forwards and back, and then side to side. And then get the patient to go all over, just move anywhere. So that's the only contact here. So we've got this triangular thing here, and the tip of the triangle is centric relation. That's where I want to record the patient's position. So I put, and this is where this Gerber system is really quite neat, because it's got a little screw and a little plastic disc with a countersink in the centre. So it means I can just put this back in the mouth and get them located into that position, and then so the biting into that position there is held in by the plate, and I squirt in Futar deregistration material and let that set. Take it out, and it's all like really lovely and secure together. And then Rowan then mounts this on the articulator. So the upper model, the upper cast, is mounted using a registration ring with a face bow. He attaches it with plaster, and then this Gothic arch system, it mounts the lower to the lower cast to the lower member on the articulator, and hey presto, we have a patient simulator on the bench for the lab for Rowan to set the teeth up to. So if the patient's the dentures dislodge, it's all due function, they just close together. It's really good, I love it, that. So number 6 is trying videos. Now this is the part, where how annoying is it when you've gone to all the trouble of making a denture, the patient has gone through a trying, they've looked at it, they like the appearance of it, and then they go away and come back and they just don't like the look of it. They say, look, I don't like the look of it now, what are you going to do about it? It's a remake, unfortunately, quite often. So using trying videos has really helped eliminate that. In fact, I've had one remake in the past 3 years since I've been using this system, and the remake happened last week, unfortunately, which Cambridge didn't like it. But anyway, so this is Emmy here. She's got a full upper trying in place. We're going through a process of rehabilitating Emmy at the moment. Sorry, we've treated it a while ago, but at this point in time on this video, rehab. So she's got a lower bridge in, which we're going to replace in the future. But she wanted to have that aesthetic appearance when she was dentate, which is brilliant. It's like Nanny McPhee look, it's really superb. So she could actually really assess herself at this particular point and look at those upper teeth and think, is this right for me? Do I like it? And, you know, since using the video, it's been really interesting because with still photographs, when the patient's like got a forced smile, they just really can't see themselves properly. In addition, when they look in a mirror, trying it engages a different part of the brain, which becomes like an analytical brain, and they look at it really from the wrong perspective. So once we've got this video here, it goes, they can sit down, this is Emmy, the video plays on the big screen here. She can look at still photographs, and in addition to that, she can look at it in the mirror, hand mirror, and check it out. So she's got like 3 different sort of views really. And I just go out of the room at this stage and leave them with Claire, and I say to the patient, I want you to be really honest, totally honest, picky at this point, because if you don't like it now, it's going to be really difficult to change it in the future. So, and if there's any doubt, they can take that training home as well. This is so important for all aspects of restorative dentistry. This is what we made for Emmy. So she had like a milled bar that went on some implants. It's like massively expensive, you know, sleeve denture. And, you know, if we'd have got this wrong, it may be we have to remake the bar and remake the dentures. It's just like hugely expensive and just not great. But she really liked it, and this is the finished result for her with the sleeve denture in place. It's really nice just mimicking that sort of thing. Nearly there now. Last thing, patient communication. This is like, you know, just massively important. You know, so I talk to my patients about adaptation, and I really want them to have this level of neuromuscular control. If all our patients had that, dentures would be easy. So this is at an actual consultation here. This is Frank here with his one of his relatives, and we're actually just discussing. I'm going to just discuss with him, with the aid of this video here, the limitations of dentures. You know, and his responsibility really in terms of how, you know, we can make them technically superb, but we're still reliant on him to actually get used to them. So this is what I talked about. So it's going to find something there, and you see how it's bouncing up and down with that top one. This lower is shifting on its base as well. They're not held in by anything other than just sitting on the gums, the dentures. So, and then he swallows. He's been wearing these for years. You can see them very warm, you know. What I'm trying to say with that show, with that video, is that with removable dentures that are not held in by anything, we are reliant heavily on your control of the dentures themselves by the way that your cheeks and your tongue hold them together and down. And it's a learned thing, like using a knife and fork. You know, if we say, right, it's chopsticks, then you have to use from now on. You know, it would take you quite a long time to learn how to use them very well. And it's exactly the same with dentures. So that is, in essence, the discussion that I have with all of my patients before I make dentures for them. And I think that's like really, really important for them to understand that. You know, because, you know, here we've got birds. You know, I can really push on this denture. It's really stable, and I do show them these sorts of videos as well. But I say to them, look, you're still going to be able to do this, all of my patients can still just push it out with the tongue easily. So they're not actually nailed in or screwed down like dental implants, but actually our dental implant patients can push them out with the tongue because it's so powerful on locators. So it's actually working with it. They need to train themselves to work with the thing. Biting and eating is interesting as well. It's different than natural teeth. So they've got positive contact on the back teeth, and we've got pull through on the anterior teeth. Positive contact on the back teeth, and then just tap together. Reseating in centric relation. So I show them this video and I say, ham sandwiches are going to be a problem because when you bite the ham sandwich, you're going to pull the ham out of the sandwich. The bread will stay in the mouth, and then you'll have the ham doing that. So because they work differently than natural teeth. You know, it's important. It's just a prosthetic arm. You know, imagine if you had your arm cut off and then you had a prosthetic arm. It would not operate in the same way as, your own hand. And it's exactly the same with teeth. Natural teeth are different than denture teeth. Adaptation is required. So, and polygrip may be required with patients who've got really shallow sulci. High frenal attachments going to get in the way of our border seal. So that's not an evil thing to suggest. It's fine. Speech may change. The dentures may become sore. But at the end of the day, with all of these patients, I'm really trying to under-promise, over-deliver. That's the whole key to this completely. So, nearly there now. So, I want to show you Christina now. It just brings everything together. It's an amalgamation of everything that I talked about. Christina came over to see us from Boston in the USA about 2 years ago now. And she had this bridge that was hanging off at the top there. And she wanted her beautiful smile back. She'd been to see 10 different prosthodontists in New York and in Boston area, and she really just hadn't found anything that really she felt was right for her. Everyone was pushing implants, and she just didn't feel cool about it at all. And she had sort of 2 medical issues that didn't preclude implants, but she just didn't want them because of those reasons. So she actually searched on the internet after this and found this video that had been produced by John Besford, and it was about setting up teeth to look just like natural teeth, and it really spoke to her, and this was the part that spoke to her.
That's lovely. It's me. You've got me back.
You've got me back. That's what she wanted. So she contacted John Besford. John Besford said, look, I've retired, but I think you should get in touch with Finlay. And then we started a communication, on the telephone and by email. And then she decided to come over for treatment. So we went through a number of treatment options. I wrote this. My treatment plan letters look like this, actually, if you've referred patients to me. They're like massive documents, but they have to be now, don't they? But it just contains all of the, the issues and that patient communication stuff, under promise, over deliver. But we decided to do an immediate full upper overdenture for her and a lower partial denture. And we decided to try to do that within a week, sort of 7 days, and get to come over for like 3 weeks, just in case we had problems. So we had no one booked in, our book was clear, and she stayed at the Royal Oak in the middle of Garstang, which was nice. So, but look at that big high smile line. This is when I first saw her, really shallow sulcus here. We're going to have problems with suction on that top denture potentially, that's initially. And also, open, bite together, open, bite together. She's posturing forward to actually hold that bridge in place and have some sort of occlusion. So we took the teeth out day 1, did definitive impression just as I've shown you. For the lower chrome, my impression making for partials is, I'm just still trying to think of like where the edentulous areas are. It's just like a full denture, so full extension, retromolar pad, etc. But to get the detail on the impression for the chrome cobalt, I dry off the teeth, rub it into the occlusal surfaces of the teeth, and then rotate the denture in. You see Claire's got the retractors in there for helping me. Push that down, in. And then do the movements that I talked about just with full denture. So I really go through it with that tongue though. Really go through it. Because I want a bit of chrome in that lingual sulcus, so I want it nicely border moulded. So, the end impression looks superb with it. And this is where all my chrome sublingual bar, or the lingual bar, just come round the edge there. So just like a complete lower really. And then day 1, at the end of the day, this is right at the end of the day, we did a wax up, a ring, looking at pictures. I couldn't find her occlusion properly because she was hunting around at the front, so CR was using that Gothic arch tracing, same system, and then side to side, just get to way back into that good relation position, and then record it in that position, just so I showed before. And that was her with the new teeth in. And we did all the videos. In fact, she took the train back to the Royal Oak, so check it out, and then came back with some further instructions for us. So, and then fast forward to day 7, we got the chrome made and fitted. So Rowan's, just nicely characterised some of the teeth, a little bit of wear, a few cracks, just to give it a little bit of realism. And at day 7, and then day 8. John Besford had been on holiday in Scotland and was driving back to London, so we had lunch, or tea at the Bay Horse, Fortin, and I sat opposite Christina, and she had goose and a duck in front of me. It's the first time I've ever taken a patient out for food straight after fitting their teeth. She loved it. So, and then we did the review the following day, and I was just showing her some of the photos, and she absolutely loved John Besford, thought it was wonderful. Oh my God. So, it's just great. So, anyway, we're finished now, but I just want to say thank you to all the nurses, the 2 Sarahs and Claire, for everything they do with the patients, because that communication that you have, dialogue, it's amazing, it's fantastic. And thank you for Karen for coordinating the practice and everything you do there, and Rowan for your awesome lab work. You're just there, aren't you? Thank you. So, and thank you everyone for coming and staying here till 9:30. I really appreciate it as well. So thank you very much. If you could, if you've got any questions, just fire away. Feedback forms, etc. You pop them in. That's great. Thanks for coming. See you in another 10 years.
All those